bad. Alright, this is Transcend, Breaking Boundaries. Another episode. This time, my sister-in-law Marcia, she's going to be the one asking the questions.
What's up, everybody? So, we have some questions for Beanie about his transition, just from the very beginning, pretty much. And, so we want to know, the details of how he made his decision, why he made his decision, when he felt the right time was in his heart to make that decision, and so on. So I'll begin with that. Beanie. All right, so when did you know, you wanted to transition? When did you have that true knowing within yourself?
I want to say it was 14, 15 was when I really started questioning, started looking into it. There was a lot of things happening, and I just really felt different, and that sort of, well, it actually did make me depressed. I was seeing guys, people in my school, family in the street and so forth, and I would see them and wish that I was them, would want to be them, just based off of, they just felt like something in me was telling me that is what I was supposed to be, image-wise and everything about it. That's what I was supposed to be. That something wasn't necessarily all together.
So so from that feeling and that thought, you started doing research on transitioning, and how did that come about?
Well, it was actually, I was on what's the old dating app? It was like Downlink or something like that, little dating thing.
I didn't do a dating app.
But and it was more so just I think it was Downlink, whatever the heck that dang thing was. But there was a trans man that was on there, and it was a black trans man in Florida, and he was documenting his, not really documenting, but he had his transition on there, and gave details, because I really didn't have a name for it. I didn't really know what it was that what to even look for or anything like that. But then I started reading up on it, realizing what it was, and I went ahead and called insurance to see if I can start going to therapy to start taking hormones. And they told me that I needed my parental consent. I knew that wasn't going to happen. So at that point, it was, I just put it back on the back burner. Decided to continue to live life as a girl until I was 18, until I could do it on my own.
Wow. Okay. You didn't ever even consider asking your parents?
No. I asked them if I could be emancipated, and they said that was a no, so I already knew they weren't gonna. And I grew up in a very religious black household, so, and the woman who was raising me, isn't okay with it still now, so there was no asking anyone. My mom, because we were actually talking about that earlier today, she said when I finally told her that I was lesbian, she had asked me if I wanted to transition, and she was talking about she doesn't even know why she asked, why it came to mind to ask me that, but she asked. But even then I told her no.
And what age is this?
This was when I was 14, 15, when I had came out as a lesbian.
So she asked you if you wanted to transition, you told her no.
Yeah.
But you were curious, and you were already thinking and
knowing
that.
But the question caught me off guard, right? Because it was so. It was still very new to me. Yeah, and
because of mom.
But then it was even when I came out, I had family members who would even tell me, well, make sure you don't transition or don't turn into a boy, this and that. Even me telling them, that I was a lesbian. So it was sort of, there wasn't really a comfortable space to really figure that out on my, to figure it out with the support of family and everything like that. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure even if I would have told my mom yes, then she might have asked that question, but I think it would have, knocked her off her boots if I would have said yeah. I don't think she would have been able to know how to respond to that.
So honestly. Fast forward to 18 now. You're legal. You're able to make decisions on your own. What was the first thing you did?
So I started taking hormones when I was 19, because I joined the military when I was 18.
Okay.
But then I was on my own, like I was living with my girlfriend at the time. We was paying rent. I felt like an adult. I was paying bills. I was like, well, shoot, I can actually go ahead and do this, make this decision on my own. And I was taking a sociology course.
Yeah.
And the final paper, one of the final topics to write about was to live as the opposite sex for a certain amount of time. And so I did that, and I saw that as, all right, well, I can actually go ahead and see if this is actually something I really want to do, if this is how it makes me feel inside to actually go through with that. And I did it.
That inspired.
Yeah, I did it, and I mean, cause I saw it as a sign. I was like, well, shoot, I could say it's for
More
a paper.
than likely it was. I mean,
Yeah.
because you were passionate. It was truly on your heart.
Yep. And then I did that, and it was the experience was good. I mean, what a lot of other things that sort of played a part in it is because, and this was all pre-hormone, so I've always had a big build. I've always had a deep voice, and doing all of that and having all of that, even when before transition I was mistaken for being a guy, I didn't feel any type of, I didn't feel bad. My mom would get upset about it, people calling me a guy. Everyone else would be upset about it, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
I felt they was saying it, they were accurate with it.
They were speaking your truth.
Yeah, before
the individuals around you really, was accepting of your truth.
Yep.
People were already speaking your truth.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I get it. Okay, 19, you get started with the process. How was that going into those doctor's offices alone, doing this stuff alone with no one's support?
Well, I had my girlfriend at the time. She was supportive. She was that was the only support I actually had.
Okay.
She said she loved me regardless, and if that's what I want to do, if that's my truth.
She went with you.
Yeah. She dropped me off at the clinic. She dropped me off at the clinic.
So when you got in there with those doctors, were they black or white?
It was a white doctor.
White doctor initially. How they? Well, male, female?
Female.
Nice. Okay. Not that male doctors aren't nice either. I don't want to make anyone feel any kind of way. So how did she, being outside of your culture, not really, truly knowing, not knowing, but she's assisting you through this process, of course,
Mm-hmm.
But she doesn't know what your experience is truly. How did she make or contribute to your experience?
Made it seem like this was going to be an easy breezy, beautiful cover boy type of situation. She had already thought that I was on hormones, and so she just wrote because it took
because you look that much like a boy.
A boy, yeah. Now I don't want to. There were other parts that led up to getting to that appointment, and it was because it was a clinic, so the wait for having to see the doctor for this was quite some time, and then technically you're supposed to get a letter from a therapist, but when I went to the doctor to start the whole thing, she was ready to just go ahead and write me the prescription, a refill on a prescription, because she thought that I had already started. But then it was I think it might have been about 6 months before I actually got the prescription. I told her, no, I haven't started hormones yet.
Yeah.
And then she was like, oh, okay, wait a second. And so then it was another 6 months before I got that first prescription, because she wanted to be sure. She wanted me to be sure that this was the right decision that I was making.
Okay.
And started it, and it was great.
How soon after did you start noticing immediate changes when you first started doing your injecting?
Honestly, it's the dosages. They've been tweaking my dosages my entire transition. I think because again, I've always known I had a deep voice, so I didn't really even notice my voice changing. It was other people who noticed that. I want to say years.
6 months? Years?
Yeah, because then I started seeing more muscle tone. I've always had the big
So
build.
this isn't an easy process, or this isn't a quick transition.
No.
This is going to take
Yeah,
people.
it definitely takes time for sure.
Just like anything good in life, it's
Yep.
it's gonna take some time, and it's worth it if you truly, know in your heart who you are.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So let's go into the family aspect of it. After transitioning, 2-3 years, you're settling in. Beard is gone.
Well, actually, it took about 6 years before my beard started really going.
Okay, 6 years in. Wow. Okay.
I just had the little baby goatee. Like this beard right here is.
When did the family start
Dude,
having to accept that you are changing?
the ex-girlfriend, she actually had to tell people stop calling him she, use the correct pronouns. Like she really helped with standing up to my family about it. But as far as when they started really accepting it, yeah, I mean over a decade possibly before they really started accepting it. Even now it's still sort of confusing even to my mom. It's confusing to her, and then April hasn't accepted it. That mask, the what I'm talking about, the ally, she put on this whole thing as if in which I'm sure she because she did raise me.
And to the average person's defense, it is something that would be considered abnormal in a sense. So let's say.
But it's abnormal because society was training to put things to put categories on things.
And labels.
So that's why it's
gender
abnormal.
roles and stuff like that. Yeah. So with that in mind, and society being conditioned that much, a decade of change within a family, I think, would be really good progress, even for the individuals who still haven't got to the acceptance fully of this, right? Because it's that much conditioning that has happened. You get what I'm saying? So, do you give any grace for that?
No. It's
straight from the waist. No, you said no.
No,
and
no.
Your no is...
I don't have grace. Because it shouldn't be an issue. That's the thing. People, it's an issue for no reason. It shouldn't be an issue. If me finding my happiness means that I'm transitioning and I'm putting my body through this, because ain't no one else is sitting in the damn hospital. No one else is having to pay to come out the pocket. Like no one else is having to endure any of this. So
accept me for who I am.
Exactly. Especially if you ain't got to go through it.
Fuck you.
Yeah. If you don't have to go through it, why do you feel like you got to sit here and I know you ain't going through it. I'm the one who might not wake up on that hospital bed. Like that. I'm the one that has to go through that.
Let's apply this to different subjects like politics, religion, race. You would be saying no and not giving grace in those areas as well.
No,
I'm just, I gotta be the devil's advocate. I gotta play that part.
When it pertains to race, no, there's no grace because
it's the same thing.
It's the exact same thing.
To every.
Y'all are not the ones. But then if you want to sit there and you want to be supportive and support individuals, let's not be ignorant and act like privileges aren't there, that you're not receiving these privileges. Let's not be ignorant and act as if you don't see that people of color are having to go through trials and tribulations to get to even be recognized on the same platform as you. So no, I don't have grace for that, because to me it's just ignorance. You're choosing to be ignorant, and I don't know why should I have grace for someone choosing to be ignorant.
Well, I don't think people are choosing to be ignorant.
They are, because you clearly know it's a problem.
The only thing that matters, like you said, is supporting one another. That's that. Like, the sooner, the faster we all can come together and support one another. Those barriers like white privileges, and all of these other factors will go out the window because your counterpart isn't going to allow the other counterpart to push you ahead because of your color.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to hold that same individual accountable, regardless of the color. You know, once we start holding each other, black, white, it doesn't even matter the race or color, whatever. Each individual next to each other, holding each other accountable instead of skipping the line and saying, I'm going to pick this person and then I'm going to pick this person because they look like me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work like that for us to grow as a society and evolve in the best way.
The unfortunate thing is, though, like I agree with you, like, but the reality of the state of America, what we live in, that is what's going on. So the problem, the issue is now, how do we get to that point? What do we do to get to that point so that people are not sitting there seeing the pick and doing all that? How do we, where's the level of understanding that needs to be done to get to that point where we all see each other and we can actually say, you know, right now I'm reading White Fragility, and then I'm also reading, what do you call it? My grandmother's Hands. And that book is about racialized trauma that's passed down. So right now, in the sort of in the frame of everything of what's going on in America, you'll see it on TV shows and stuff where it's like white people are now taking offense to a lot of the stuff that's going on, and so now they're talking about how now I had this one roommate telling me, you know, it's not fair because this and that.
Because it's becoming black supremacist.
Yeah, because
it goes both ways, in my opinion.
But my thing is, but that's the problem. You now seeing that it's not fair. You got black people that's their entire lives have felt that way. But now in this little brief moment of your time, it's not fair.
But
so then how do we fix that problem?
The problem is that everybody keeps using time as a factor when we only have the now. Like everyone keeps good thing we can recount history and look at it and say, wow, this is what we won't be ever again. Great, you know. But ultimately, we are so focused on what someone else had at this time versus focusing on the now. We can't even get nothing accomplished in this very moment because they're so focused on, my last 400 years, I ain't been able to get off the boat, and you was able to build some wealth, and like. We're not worried about the last 400 years any longer.
See, the thing is,
white and black supremacy, like they say, at this point, if we're pushing this,
the reason why all that still needs to be in people's forefront is because we're still living in white institutions that keep it that way. So that's why it keeps being brought up.
And by all means, those institutions aren't going anywhere.
Exactly. So then why should people stop having to say talk about the 400 years? Because they're going to keep bringing it up.
Some people need to find a guy in the institution.
Figure out for me right now.
Shake a couple hands.
And how do you operate in it?
And open the door for others. Find that guy.
It's in order for history to really change drastically, in order for things to change drastically, there has to be a substantial amount of people really proactively wanting that change.
Absolutely. Collectively, we all have to want the exact same thing.
And then until people get on that same page, because then the reason why people won't get on that same page is because you still have white people who don't think that there's white privilege is such a thing. You have white people who don't think that racism is still a thing. So
I don't think that the masses, the majority of us are racist.
Okay.
We all feel our ways about because of what we've been taught.
The prejudice, I guess, would be the better word. There's real prejudice amongst everyone. You know, even blacks have it against themselves.
Africans have it. Whites. Indians have it. Asians have it.
The prejudices.
Europeans have it.
It's there.
Americans, yeah.
And my thing is, when I talk about racism. You know, I mean prejudices, and I mean the lack of acknowledgement. Those who want to act as if those prejudices don't exist.
We can't. None of us, and that would just be a bold-faced lie. And that has to be also has to be a minority because we all can clearly see.
And that's what I'm saying. We all can clearly see it, but you have people who act as if it is not a thing. you have people who act as if it's something that's made to believe, or it's something that someone feels on their own, personal, without really acknowledging that. Even
I think
if
that those
never...
people need to book a ticket to Hollywood. If you're that good at acting, get on that plane, because there's no way in reality that is even a thing. Like we all know that prejudice exists.
It is a very hardcore thing, and folks are just it literally goes from genders to race. There's so many different levels of prejudice. There's classism. It's there, and I feel like people just need to stop acting as if it doesn't exist. Acknowledge that it does. Sympathize with someone who's saying they've gone through it. Don't sit there and lessen what someone's experience if they have gone through it, because you're just adding to the damn problem. Don't lessen it.
Don't lessen it, please. Don't make people. Matter of fact, just shut up. How about that? When someone comes to you with their experience, just shut up. If you don't agree, or if you do agree, sometimes it's just good to shut up.
I agree. I agree.
No, seriously, sometimes you just need to be the observer. Just observe. Like, listen to someone tell you their experience. Observe. You don't always have to have it. They're just sharing their experience with you. You don't always have to be opinionated or give suggestions about someone else's. Most of the time, they don't even care to hear your suggestions or opinions. They just want to express themselves. So shut up.
Yeah, allow people to express themselves too. My thing is that whole the angry black narrative. That's what really just bothers me. One, in my opinion, right to be angry. Excuse my language. Actually, I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm a curse. People got a right to be angry.
I don't. I don't. I'm very optimistic. I don't have no.
I'm an optimistic person as well.
I have no reason to be angry. Why would I be angry with this level of gratitude in my heart?
This goes back to experiences and everything else. Your life experience. I'm angry about a lot of stuff that has happened in my life. Now, will I let that anger hold me back?
But that's another thing. Like you said, generational trauma, or however you put it, from the book you were reading, right?
Yeah, generational trauma. Yeah.
Right. So that's another problem, in my opinion. People holding on to that thing that it's like almost like a bag that you want to keep pulling.
The anger that I hold on to it's not that I'm holding on to it. I want to be able. How else are we to learn? How else are we supposed to help other people learn about it if we just throw it under the rug?
But you're not throwing it under the rug, because the experience already happened.
Yeah,
you can only speak from that experience. But when you go through these experiences, in my opinion, it was meant for you too, so you can pass that information on to help and save someone else's life.
Because of that, and that's what I'm saying. That's where the anger lies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still an optimistic person. I'm still going out here living my life. You're attaching yourself
to that emotion, that anger.
Because how else is anyone else really going to learn from it? You get what I'm saying? If you can't see it, because if there was something that angered you, right? If you were upset about something and you wanted me to care about something that you were angry about, you would need to express that anger, because you can't smile at me and tell me something hurt your feelings, because then I'm not going to believe it.
But it doesn't have to be in the form of the emotion anger. It could just be passion. You could be passionate, but the anger causes stress, which causes all types of physical issues within us. What I'm saying is can we attach our emotions? Can we attach our these things to different emotions, like the better side of the emotions?
It's a possibility. I'm not there yet. I'm not saying it can't happen. You're right. It could possibly happen. But as of right now, I feel like I'm gonna need to be. In order for you to learn,
I'm angry.
In order for you to get it, I think I need to be angry, because you ain't gonna get it any other way. Because, I mean, you look at Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wasn't angry.
I'm so glad you said that, because we get a insight on that mentality. So there's a lot of people who have that same mentality, where they feel like they have to use anger to get their points across, right? And they so happen to be dark skinned just like you, and then they so happen to be labeled the angry, and then they so happen to get mad when they labeled but they labeled themselves the angry black person. He just did it.
But that's what I'm saying. The whole, like, being labeled as the angry black person, because there's a lot. I become angry when you label me that, because I've been in situations.
What? You labeled yourself that, and
that's what I'm saying. Because
I'm just telling you what you told me you
like people expressing this, like I can express myself without being angry. I can be feeling angry inside, but if I'm expressing it to you, but I'm calmly saying it to you, and I'm expressing that I'm verbally telling you that I'm angry, then
someone
that right
perceiving your passion
as anger,
and not being able to
that's what makes
to
me
hear
angry.
or listen to what you're saying.
And that's what makes me angry.
Yeah.
Because I've been in plenty of situations where I'm passionate about something.
We have a big issue with emotional intelligence in this country. So once we start gathering, everybody worried about IQ, we need to focus on EQ. Focus on EQ more than anything, because we wouldn't have this issue where someone is expressing themselves no matter how belligerent they are, no matter how silly they are, where you can't necessarily take in the information that they're giving you because you're judging what's happening on the outside of them versus really zoning in and listening to what they're saying. Like, you have to be able to put up a barrier where you block out all of the madness or whatever, even if it's silliness or whatever, and just focus in on what that individual is saying. That's what intelligence is, and a really good observer does.
There's this book that this audio book that I recently finished listening to, and it's titled "You're Not Listening." And it talks about
you can hear, but you're not listening.
Yeah, it talks about people so quick to put themselves or like take offense, take whatever the case may be, instead of actually listening to what the person is saying. So they're already quick to judge. They're already assuming what the other person is going to say, this, and that, without actually listening to the person.
I do wonder what that angry black woman thing, like, because you really kind of gave me some insight by actually saying it, like, being honest and open and admitting I am angry. So I do come off angry.
But I'm not coming off angry until you tell me I'm angry. Now, and if the reason why you feel threatened by how I'm verbalizing something or something like that, and I'm telling you I'm calm, you have to look at you. You know what I'm saying? That's you. Why are you taking offense to something? Because I'm telling you I'm calm. I'm not angry in the sense of, angry and want to lash out or something like that. What I'm telling you is what just happened, what I went through, experience and all of that, it affected me, and I'm angry about that. And so I want to be able to come talk to you about it, express that to you. But if me expressing that to you, telling you what happened to me makes me angry, but if you're taking it as me being angry, you're now creating a bigger problem. Because I wasn't angry. I'm expressing myself to you. As you just said, passionately. I'm expressing myself.
Yes.
I'm not angry.
Yes.
But if you want to assume that I'm angry because I'm expressing myself, then you just mixed up the whole guy. Like you made the situation worse than what it is.
So you're not angry when you're expressing yourself. So.
Like even right now, I'm pretty sure someone thinks because of how I'm talking right now, this could be perceived as me being angry by the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not though. You know, like I'm not angry right now. But this right now, how these types of conversations.
And here we go again with knowing thyself. So when you have that much, like if you know yourself enough, you shouldn't even be flustered or feel any kind of way, with you being you.
Exactly.
Like be you.
Yeah,
like
I like having these conversations, and I like my tells being feathered. What do you call it? Whatever. Because I like these debates. I like having these conversations. And me talking about it like this doesn't mean I'm angry. I want you to feel the passion about the subject. Because then perhaps maybe me pushing off this passion about this subject onto you, then it will open your mind and your thoughts up, and more people can have these conversations. Yeah. It's okay to have these conversations.
That part. It's okay to have these conversations. Boom.
There you go.
Like, we can talk about anything. Like, stop hiding behind society and these norms or these traditions. Like we have today. That's all we have. Like, y'all are so worried about time that does not exist any longer. Like, let's focus on today. Like, let's start having these conversations today, and really getting to know each other, you know, on a deeper level, and also accepting one another wholeheartedly without you know, weird interests involved, fake allyship and stuff, you know, truly accepting one another, you know. So,
Yep, that part right there, true acceptance. Like I mean, I'm hoping, you know, people actually listen to this and watch this, and I want someone to start blowing up comments and saying stuff. Perfect. Let's have this conversation.
Yeah.
Call. We can phone call. Let's talk about it. Let's get a circle. Let's get a bonfire going. You know, I got a saxophone, piano. We can really have some conversations and jam it out. Literally.
Yeah, we're gonna see how well you can just observe some of the things I'll say out my mouth. Because I'm definitely gonna ruffle feathers.
Oh yeah,
always.
you already know they're gonna come out there. They're gonna so quick on that keyboard. Typewriter,
yeah.
Put it on.
And I like it. Trust me. I welcome all positivity and negativity.
Yep,
because
same.
it doesn't bother me. Like, I really want people to be able to express themselves.
Any last question you want to put on there, or is that it?
That was it. No,
Well, that was it?
Yeah,
Cool.
we just edit that out.